What's going on, people? Welcome back to the Football Casual. Chelsea had no midweek game this week, so I thought I'd do one of the debate videos. Zach Jellub, once again, shout out to Zach Jellub. Go check out the full video. I'll only be doing the first debate in this video. But this is somewhat Chelsea related. We're doing John Terry versus 20 football fans. You know, John Terry, captain, leader, legend. It's only right. I'll probably end up doing every debate in this video in separate videos, but for now, we're going to be doing just the first debate, which is Chelsea's 15 goal conceded record will never be beaten. Big claim, but I want to see how these football fans debate John Terry on that. That's his first claim. Like, subscribe, all that good algorithm stuff will be much appreciated, and let's get straight into it.
I think Chelsea's 15 goals conceded in the Premier League will never be beaten.
Okay, 3, 2, 1. We're starting.
Good claim.
Appreciate how you said, I think Chelsea's, not just yours as well. Obviously, it was a team achievement. Okay, anybody want to come forward?
Oh,
Here we go.
Okay, Chelsea fan off rip.
there will be people that are
Interesting. A Chelsea fan immediately coming up to debate it. All right, let's see.
arguing it'll be beaten. I don't think it will be. But I do have a couple of questions that I did want to ask in terms of, I remember the last two games, you and Petr Cech were rested.
Yeah, so officially ours was 13.
Exactly, and could have been 97 points. I think it was the last day we drew, didn't we? Has there been any conversations about, like, is there regret there that we could have done it even better?
100%. I was actually with Pete recently, and you look at the goal scorers and the teams we conceded against. Obviously, Henry scored 2 that year, but it was like Birmingham's,
I think
Norwich,
as well,
Bolton
yeah.
as well. Kevin Davies scored a couple. It was a handful as well back in the day, but not top. So we was kind of debating it could have been sub 10, definitely.
Sub 10.
It doesn't get beaten.
Yeah, I don't think
sub 10. Big claim. You can't argue those things, though. If you look at the fact that the league was wrapped up, like they're saying, and there's some games toward the end where they conceded more goals, just, you know, you're kind of resting on your laurels. It's an interesting argument. Sub 10, though? Sub 10 is kind of crazy. I'm not going to lie, though. This Chelsea fan is not even debating. I'm pretty sure he just came up to just yappa with John Terry. And not going to lie, I would do the exact same thing. But let's see.
But out of all,
Get beaten.
yeah, I don't think it does. But out of all,
Okay, he's not debating.
Wait. I want one question.
Give me time.
Guys, give me a sec. Give me a sec.
I'm giving you a minute here, so have your moment.
Yeah, I will,
I'm gonna
exactly.
let you have your moment.
Are you a Chelsea fan?
Yeah, just a bit, a little bit.
I'm going to let you have your moment. Go.
I see a Chelsea
go.
fan as he's wearing a Chelsea
Hazard's
kit.
as
It's
well,
crazy.
there's lots of great players, but in recent years, obviously, two players you missed out on, I think, were Thiago Silva and Reece James. Do you think either of those could have started for that side over maybe Ferreira and Carvalho, as brilliant as they were?
Yeah, I do actually. Yeah, possibly. Yeah, they're
Both or one or
Reece could start.
Yeah, both I'd say. Yeah, would have definitely been in
get a
with the
call
shout
from
of state.
Ricardo.
Yeah, I know. Ricky, I spoke to Ricky the other day. But I think both would have. Thiago was immense, wasn't it? And also we've had a lot of players like Zola and those boys at the end of at the end of their career. Thiago was the same as well at the back end of his career, and how good was he as well? Just goes to show you. Look at people like Milner looking after themselves in the right way. You can prolong your career and play right at the top till the very end as well. But he was top, and then obviously Reece is like Chelsea through and through. So I think both of them would have played. Yeah.
yeah. I should
Happy?
ask that.
Then it would have been 5 maybe.
I think yeah.
5.
You're off, mate.
Five
I'm
is
glad you
insane.
enjoyed that. I'm glad you enjoyed that. Tobes, you need your yellow card as well.
I forgot it.
Well done. He's in dreamland right now, by the way. He's in absolute dreamland.
The boys nearly
I get it,
voted.
bro. I would be too.
Go on then, my friend. Welcome.
If you want me
Arsenal
to be
fan.
actually honest, I don't think there's really going to be a fan that's probably going to come on and say that it's never going to be beaten. However, what I want to ask you is, how great do you think that record is in comparison to other records you've seen? So,
I'm not gonna lie. That's a good question, because it's gonna be tough for anyone to really come up here and say, "Oh yes, it will be beaten." Like, based on what evidence? We saw this year, Arsenal looked like they were on the chase in November. It looked like it was a possibility, and that quickly got wrapped up. So really, it's hard to make the argument that it will be beaten. But I think this is a good reframing of the question, just to make it a more interesting debate. Now we're going to start debating the records, like Premier League records, and see which one's the best.
is how great do you think that record is in comparison to other records you've seen? So, like maybe the Centurions, treble, Invincible. Is it?
I wonder when that one was coming.
He tried to act like he wasn't going to say
what level
Invincible.
would you
Come
put
on.
that achievement.
Oh, that's a really good question, actually. I'm not sure it's at the top, but from a defender's point of view, when you're a defender,
That's
you
fair.
really appreciate that. So from myself and Big Pete, we're really proud of that. Now, obviously, there's bigger and better achievements and stuff like that throughout. But as a defender, it's what you kind of live on, and you want to keep clean sheets, no goals conceded. Those last-minute blocks and saves from the goalkeeper and stuff mean the world. So again, when I said us, it's a collective. And I refer to the back four and Big Pete. But in front of me was Makaleli, who done a lot of my dirty work for me as well. And then there's players in front of him. Lamps was like box to box, go up and down. So again, it's like a team game. But defensively, we're really proud of our achievements for that.
I think the only reason why is because I don't.
Interesting. I think, to be fair, if you're asking John Terry, not even because he's a Chelsea player, because he's a defender through and through. I think if you ask other defenders too, non-Chelsea players, unless you're talking to like a City player who was on the Centurions or an Arsenal player who was on the Invincibles, you're just talking to like your average defender, I think they would also rate that 15 goals conceded really highly because that's a defensive record. So of course for him that's going to be the best. For me personally, I this is number one. It's one of the most impressive. I'm not going to lie. This is the fact that I don't think it can be beaten, or it's like it's going to take a super special team to beat it. Like Invincibles is amazing. Don't get me wrong, Arsenal fans, don't come and kill me. Invincibles is amazing, but I think the 15 goal conceded is more impressive, personally. Like I think the Invincibles, it's possible that someone goes and does that. That's really like things more luck based, like something going this way, going that way. It's obviously you have to be an amazing team over the course of a season, but you can be Invincibles and still not be that impressive as a team, as like say the Centurions, for example, who were just like flying and dominating on a different level. Maybe Centurions is up there as the most impressive. Trebles are always going to be amazing, but if you're just talking about a league season, 15 goal conceded Centurions, to me those are like you're really showing your offensive or your defensive dominance. Invincibles it's there too, but it's just like one thing going this way, one thing going that way. You need more luck on your side, it feels like. But because this Chelsea team almost went invincible, if you think about it. So I don't know. That's very, very debatable, and I'm sure Arsenal fans will not agree with that. But I don't know. Well, let me know what you guys think. What's the most impressive achievement?
Team game, but defensively, we're really proud of our achievements for that.
I think the only reason why is because I don't think that there's going to be a team in the history of football, unless maybe defenders, like I'm defending myself even Sunday League, I'm not going to compare you, but like for example, so I don't think there's going to be like teams that are going to go out there and be like, you know what, I want to beat that 15 goals conceded record. I think that's the only
Do
reason
you think
why.
the Arsenal boys could do it?
No.
Obviously, right now,
I think
I was worried though. The start of the season, I was
I
worried.
think by like November we had 3 or 4 goals conceded, but like it was that one Sunderland game that just kind of killed it all, the momentum.
Because how did you guys find that? With obviously, were there any moments where you like, were you ever talking about it?
I wasn't really aware of it. We went on a run of I think about 10 games I think where we didn't concede. We were in away to Norwich where we conceded, and it was like 2 or 3 games. Kind of before that, it got made aware. The press were making a big thing of it. But as a player, we were just like getting on with the next game, clean sheet, tick that one off, go again. So as a player, you're not really aware of it. But when Arsenal started the season so well, I was phoning Big Pete going, we could be in trouble.
I just, in this level of football and the football that we're in now, I just don't think that that'd be a possibility, to be honest. But the only reason why is because, like, for example, I know Arsenal had the record before, we conceded 17 goals, but we didn't win the league. So it's like, for example, you can have an incredible defense, and we had that before. That doesn't necessarily mean you're going to win trophies. So I think, as you said already, that's not the best. If you compare it to like a Centurions, where it's almost the opposite. You have to be the best and score the most goals and win the most games, where it's gotten to a point now where people think it's normal to get 90 points and 100 points. It's not. It's near enough impossible. You look at even the Invincibles, obviously I know that gets a lot of flack, to be honest. I think it's almost becoming a bit more of a overhated, not even underrated, but like overhated achievement, because you're going into games not losing for going into the next season, nearly 50 games, and then the Old Trafford game, I mean, we'll talk about that. But I think in regards to your record, I don't think you'll probably won't be beaten, but I just don't think it's as great of a record.
No,
People are going to look at it. And
I would sit here and agree, but like I said, from a defender's point of view, and you said you're a defender as well, you appreciate that as well. And also, it's the foundation. It's the foundation of that. having a good base of not conceding many goals, having midfielders who score goals, having a striker like Didier that produces 25, 30 goals every season for the course of his career at Chelsea. It's the mix of everything. Having one striker scoring 50 goals don't win you the league, but having a good striker, really good midfield, solid defence is the recipe for it.
I'll get voted off. I'll be honest.
Well done, mate.
Nah, fair enough. Yeah, these aren't really debates. These are more just conversations. I mean, we've seen more like proper debates in other episodes. I think, honestly, it's hard to go up there and just debate John Terry, especially on his own record. But I think they made some good points about the different, like the rankings of the different records. I know he said the Invincibles is overhated. And maybe it sounds like I agree with that based on, or maybe it sounds like I'm hating on it based on what I said before. I don't think it's overhated. I think just having seen the records that have come since, some are more impressive. Like he said, the Centurions going out and winning more games, like just going out and dominating teams, scoring a ton of goals and winning the games, to me is more impressive than not losing games. But of course, not losing games is very impressive. And then the fact that they won the league, you can't turn your nose up at it. I mean, not losing games is the first step of like football. You don't want to lose a game, and then you want to go. Actually, to be fair, I would just say winning games is be all end all the step. But in order to win games, you have to not lose games. And having that foundation is important. But I don't know. I still think Centurions and 15 goals is better than the Invincibles.
Well done. Welcome, Ollie.
Hi.
Welcome to the debate. Do you also agree? Is everyone agree?
I'm not going to say whether I agree or disagree. I thought it was interesting you said that Thiago Silva and Reece James you think would start for that team based on ability. So do you not think that back four plus the keeper is the best on pure ability in Prem history?
I think that could be debated, if I'm honest. I do think in terms of the record and the rapport that we had, and I think sometimes it's not about having the very best. So if you were saying, okay, if I ask you your top 5 Premier League defenders of all time in the Premier League, I'm not sure Carvalho would be there.
Chris Richards, Maxence Lacroix.
He's a Palace
But
fan.
if you ask a Chelsea fan that sees this guy week in, week out and what he delivered in those 3 years at Chelsea, they would then really debate of going, yeah, he's in my top 5. And I think when you're aligned with one football club as well, when you see the players and you watch how they perform week in, week out, sometimes as a defender you can go under the radar, you don't make a mistake and you do all the bits right. It's like as a Chelsea fan you see that, but as a Palace fan, away from that you'd watch Match of the Day, you'd watch those highlights, you watch one mistake that leads to a goal throughout the season, but you miss the other kind of 37 games. So I would half agree with you if I'm honest.
What do you think then makes it, because obviously statistically it is the best defensive season ever. Yeah. What made it so good if it wasn't just the personnel? Like, was it the combination of people in
attackers
front?
were bad as well at that time. Do you think attackers are better now?
Oh, no, 100%.
We might get into this a bit later.
Yeah, we definitely get into this later. But I think when you look at the era of strikers that...
I mean, he's about to get into it, so apologies for cutting him off, but I think Zach's just trying to stir something up. In terms of strikers back then and strikers now, holy, the gap is insane. It's insane. So that record to me is even more impressive. Like if Arsenal were to have gotten or broken the record this season, like obviously it's amazing. It's an amazing achievement. But if we're looking at the level of strikers that would have been going against the season, especially given the injuries in the league this season, you're looking at Haaland, who's like arguably and probably is the greatest straight up goal scorer, the best goal scorer in Premier League history. You could argue whatever, but I think Haaland's probably number one. But other than that, they're playing Haaland twice a season. Other than that, you're looking at the likes of Igor Thiago, who stepped up big time this season. Looking at João Pedro, who only now is going on a run of form. Really wasn't really out number 9 before this season. Gyökeres, who scored 100 goals in the Portuguese league the last 2 years, became in here. What am I talking about? He's on Arsenal. That's not. But I'm just talking about the level of strikers. If you want to look at Ekitike, who is a great striker, but only really found his feet at Frankfurt. I mean, he had it before, but then he went to PSG, fell out, went to Frankfurt, found it again, came in to be on the bench to Isak. He's proven himself, but nothing crazy. Isak injured, and he wasn't looking good either. Voltamata is playing in midfield. Just looking around the league, Mateta is not even really playing for Palace consistently anymore because that whole situation's a mess. So they get the best strikers around the league. It's not that compelling And in terms of like keeping a record, Arsenal honestly should have been able to do it if you're really looking at the level of goal scorers around the league these days.
It's a bit later.
Yeah, we definitely get into this later, but I think when you look at the era of strikers that were about at that, and again, we're talking about the Henrys, the Rooneys, Aguero, all of these top players, but below that, and this is no disrespect to them, people like Kevin Davis, Kevin Phillip, Darren Bent, Jermaine, that these were top Premier League players. So it wasn't like just at the top 5 clubs you faced difficult strikers. It was wherever you went across the country, a relegation side, there was goals in that team. There was really good strikers, and I think that's why it's such an incredible record.
Weirdly, Darren Bent was on my tube on the way here. It's funny, yeah, just
Must have
thought
been
I'd
an early
mention
start.
it.
He was doing Talk Sport.
Yeah. Mourinho obviously was the manager at the time as well. Do you think any modern coach could match up to him in terms of setting up a defence?
I like how this just turned into like a John Terry interview. No one's coming up there and really debating this. They're just like, I just want to pick your brain on that Chelsea side, like what made it so amazing. And honestly, I really can't blame him. But yeah, this is just a straight up John Terry interview.
No, probably not. No, he was that first. He was defend first. Obviously, they got the part of the bus, that kind of mentality.
Did you ever care about that? Did you ever care when people said that?
No, absolutely.
I don't
not.
know.
Yeah, still to this day, it's like, yeah, that's what we're about, and we were really solid. We had goals in the team, so even at 80 minutes, it would be nil in the games. It would be like everyone was calm in the team. You felt it because we had one chance would be a goal in the team. But I don't think managers look at football now how he looks at football. He was very pragmatic. He wanted to win at all costs and win any way possible. If there was an opportunity to go and win.
Sorry, and I'm cutting this off. This brother on the left here is glaring at John Terry. I know he's probably just like zoning out or something. The way he is staring at the back of John Terry's head, he's just like boring holes in the back of his head. I know that's super random, but hey, bro, chill out. Chill out.
4 or 5-0, he was so keen at half time to go and punish these today. But also, you'd come in and go, 1-0 wins us the game, by the way.
Is this, just a final one, is this Arsenal team, you said you were worried about them earlier this season, is that the most worried you've been about the record being broken since you set it?
Yeah, but in January, I wasn't.
Fair enough. Right, that's
Nicely done. Nicely done. Anyone want to come forward? Welcome, Calms, to the conversation. Another Arsenal fan.
Hello, John.
Hello, mate.
Nice to see you. Shook it.
Got a minute, bro.
I just want to say, like, in football, like, nothing is guaranteed. Like, we've seen so many records be broken and teams do, like, crazy things, like we've seen Leicester win the Premier League. I feel like just because the Premier League is long lasting, I feel like we will see a team, but just not for a very, very long time. Just a question for you. Do you think the back four in today's game, let's say the modern era, like the last 10 years, do you think it would do just as good, if not better?
Our back four?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would. And also, I look at teams back then. A lot of the teams played 4-4-2, played 2 strikers up front. You play against Newcastle, where you play against Shearer, Bellamy running behind, Dyer playing just off Shearer, making those runs behind. As a centre-half, you're constantly occupied with 2 strikers. And if not, you play against teams like Arsenal, where Henry comes in from the side. He's always coming into your zones and stuff like that.
John, I'm sorry, mate. I've got to lay down the law.
I actually wanted.
Done with that debate. Well done.
Zach finished.
Smashed it. Brilliant. Right. Very.
Okay, going to an ad. They ain't pay me. They ain't pay me. But I actually want to hear the rest of his point there. He made a good point, especially the record gets even more impressive if you look at the fact that back then 2 striker systems were still the norm. It was actually probably Chelsea and Drogba up top who changed that from being pretty common. But I guess you could, like you said, you could look at Arsenal. But then even then they had like Bergkamp, who was kind of a second striker, so it's not really the same thing. But still, back then playing against 2 strikers, both of your center backs are constantly occupied by a man, and your fullbacks have to deal with the wide midfielders, and then you have like a midfielder who's going to streak into the box. It's a lot different than playing against one. I would say really good if it's like Holland or something, but usually one mid striker and then 2 wingers who you have your fullbacks who are already covering them, and then you have an extra center back to cover whoever comes in on that side. It's a completely different defensive setup based on the way teams are playing these days. So I'm not gonna lie. Will it ever be beaten? I'm not sure, and I honestly don't think so. Ever is crazy. Ever, I mean, whatever. We don't know, but at least within our lifetimes, very unlikely the way football is going, especially. But things go in cycles, and you never know. In the next, we're already starting to see it, the individualism of football coming back. But in the next 5-10 years, we could see maybe 2 strikers up top come back, and I would love to see that. And we could end up seeing some teams just lock in defensively, lock in, and I don't know. Arsenal, we thought might have been that team. They were not, thankfully, but we might see some teams where they just lock in on defense and say, we're going to sit here and you're going to have to beat us and we'll beat you on the counter. And it's easier said than done. Obviously, a lot of teams may have tried to do that. But if you actually have the top quality players, it's possible. It's possible. But I hope you enjoyed that. Honestly, it wasn't as much of a debate as I expected. So maybe this video isn't going to be as heated as I would have thought, or maybe you would have thought. But hey, it's John Terry talking football with football fans. What more could you ask for? Shout out Zach Jalab or Jalab. Once again, go check out his channel. You know, you don't need me to tell you that. And I'll probably do the rest. I think he has some interesting debates in here. I think one of them is like the number 9, lack of number 9s in football. Football was better back in his day. A lot of interesting debates. So I will be checking out more of them in the future if you guys want. But like, subscribe, all the good algorithm stuff, especially if you made it this far. It would be much appreciated. And I'll see you this weekend. Chelsea, Arsenal. Our top 4 is on the line for this season. It's getting spooky. I'll see you then.